13 and 14 today. Kanyabhikamaniya kanti bhiralancara malarartika patre moktika chitra pankti vilasat karpura deepavalihi utattattala mridanga geeta sahitam nityat padambhoruham mantraradhana purvakam suvihitam nirajanam grihyatam Lakshmi Mauktika Laksha Kalpita Sita Chatram tu dhatte rasad Indrani Charatischa Chamaravare dhatte Swayam Bharati Veenam Ena Vilochana Sumanasam Nrityanti Tadragavat Bhavair Angika Satvika Isputarasam Matastada Karnyata. Okay. So the last week, what did we do? We went up until giving Devi the Pugai
Tambula.
Purin correct. Tambula Pugair Pugaihi Bhuri Gunaihi Sugandhi Madhuraihi Karpura Khandojvalaihi Tambula Valli Dalaihi. So we gave a Tambula. So which means she has finished eating, we gave her a Tambula. Now we are visualizing as though Devi is now being entertained.
In the Shodashopachara, the sloka is like this. Pugi Falaischa Karpurair Nagavalli Dalairyutam Muktachurna Samayuktam Tambulam Pratigruhyatam.
Pratigruhyatam. Very nice.
Pratigruhyatam.
Very nice.
So Gruhyatam is taking, right?
Please take. Yeah.
Please take Pratigruhyatam.
Take or take it.
Yeah, Muktachurna is something like related to calcium carbonate, like Chunambu.
Yeah, Chunambu.
That's the pearl powder.
What powder?
Pearl powder. Muktachurna Samayuktam.
Pearl powder. Okay. Yeah, I've heard this. They crush the pearl and they make a powder out of it, and that's used. Yeah. So this is the Tambula that we did last week, where Devi was offered after food. We give Tambula and she's resting. Now she's being entertained. She's entertained by whom? By the Veena and Lakshmi and Veena. Indrani, Ratihi. All of them are entertaining Devi. They themselves are singing, and there are celestial dancers who are dancing in front of her, and there are ladies who are carrying beautiful lamps. So it is a very celebratory kind of a mood. In her household, she's been fed, she's been given Tambula and everything. Now she is in a very relaxed and a rested mood. And there are people coming and entertaining her. Now, usually, even for us, after we have a nice meal on a weekend, you sit and you want to watch a movie also, you will feel asleep. Correct? Very likely, you want to watch, sit. Let's watch something or let's listen to something. You'll go off to sleep. Now, there are different versions of this. It's okay to sleep after lunch. It is not okay to sleep. Some people say it is okay to take a little bit of rest. Some say, no, if you take rest, you'll become tamasic or you'll become fat. You'll put on weight. But important is don't overeat, that it puts you to sleep. Right? It is okay to...
Easier said than done.
The overeating is the problem. We're so relaxed, we eat so much. Now, if you're Devi, imagine what were the Sahasra, what she was offered last week, if you recall, Sthali Sahasrair Bhritam. There are thousands of varieties of food that is offered to her. And if you do this to Devi every day, imagine if you're doing Matruka Pushpamala Stavam every day and offering Devi all of this every day. She'll be like this fat lady sitting, not able to move. Offering all of this, and then you're also giving her dance, music, everything.
No,
when Bandasura comes, you'll have to Imagine Devi getting up and going. She'll be like, "You fed me so much, I can't get up now."
First question is, will he come?
Good point. He'll no longer be attracted to this baby. Correct. I mean, that's an interesting way to keep Bandasura at bay, also, right? So why do we feed so much? Why do we give so much to Devi? What are we doing? We are feeding, we are making, dressing her up, feeding well, making sure that she's entertained, all of that. Is essentially you're keeping a joyful and a celebratory environment. You're trying to create a celebratory environment. And see, remember, this is Adi Shankara created this for those who are unable to do a lot of these things in a grand way on the outside. So if you look at it, a lot of people actually, those who are very wealthy, they would possibly do a lot of they'll spend a lot to actually physically do a lot of these things in terms of worship, in terms of um, when Devi becomes Shakambari, you should see there are some places and temples where they decorate and do alankaram with so many fruits and vegetables. It's completely filled. And of course, after that, I don't think they throw that away. They probably will make food out of it and give it out as dhanam. But the idea is that we're trying to create a joyful and a celebratory um, uh, an environment within us, and you're keeping this whole, you're invoking a presence and you're trying to keep the presence happy. Now it's an exchange, right? And you remember I've told you in Sri Vidya Upasana, it is always like this. When you're bringing a yantra, the starting of the Sri Vidya Upasana is always you do prana pratishtha into the yantra. After you do prana pratishtha to the yantra, everything that you do, the shodasha upachara that you do to the yantra, is like you are doing it to yourself. All of the abhishekam, the dupam, deepam, naivedyam, aradhana, all of that you're doing, when you're doing it to that yantra, it is as though you're doing it to yourself. This is the whole idea of doing Devi Upasana, Sri Vidya Upasana in that form. And then at the end of it, when everything is done, you take the prana and you do avahyami. You do avahanam into you. Bring it back. Which means your energy body is out there. Your energy body is being cleansed. It is being decorated. It is being anointed. It is being fed. It is being entertained. Everything that you do. And then you bring it back. So that within you, you remain joyful, exuberant. Your energy doesn't deplete away. So your energy body is taken out and you are giving it positivity, you are giving it all of this, so that the energy body is rejuvenated. Because in your daily activity, when you're engaging with the world, when you're doing transactions with the world, and even in your mind, when you're doing transactions in your mind, there's a lot of depletion of energy. So you're bringing it out, rejuvenating, re-energizing it, and bringing it back inside. When you do that, this energy body then remains exuberant, remains joyful, remains celebratory. That is the whole idea. You feel good about life. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. You create that bhava. Constantly you create this bhava of being joyful. These are ways of doing this. So when you are offering all of this to Devi, obviously that doesn't mean that we go through this process physically. We are not going to consume all of this. We are not going to entertain ourselves this way. We are not going to keep doing all of these fanciful things to ourselves, right? It is not about that at all. It is about in our minds, we are creating this Devi. We are saying Ambal Devi. We are personifying it. We are personifying it. That principle that is there, we're personifying it. Once you personify it, then you give it a form, you materialize it form. That form you keep as a yantra or a vigraha. And then you do all of this and you do it with bhava, with love, with devotion. There have been saints who have, whether they've had food for themselves or not, they will definitely find out food to do naivedya to their ishta. Right? We've heard stories where such saints, they keep themselves in a way that there was this, I don't remember which saint was this. He had taken a sankalpa saying every day until I don't feed something to a sannyasi or a bhikshuka, unless I don't feed, I will not eat anything. So even if he doesn't have anything to feed himself, he'll figure out somehow, somewhere to find something so that he can feed a sannyasi. And only then, if there remains whatever, he will eat that. So this is a bhava. This is essentially an emotion that one carries. And what is the advantage of this? In your mind, there is always the joy of giving. You're doing it for somebody, you're doing it for someone, you're doing it for someone. So when you're doing it for Devi like this, you're feeding and doing Naivedyam and Nrityam and Ganam and all of this you're doing, you're keeping your mind active, energetic, exuberant, joyful. So with that understanding, we are in the third kuta. Okay. So we finished 2 kutas of the Panchadasakshari. The first 4, the first 5, the next 6 we finished. We entered into the last 4. So last week when we started with Satchayehi Varaketaki Dalarucha Tambula Valli Dalaihi. So we entered into the third kuta, which is called as the Shakti kuta. These have 4 syllables. Sakala Hrim. So now we are coming into the second one. So last week was Sa, this week is Ka. Kanya Bhihi Kamaniya Kanti Bhihi Alankaram Alarartika. So there are these Kanya, beautiful Kamaniya Kanya Kanti Bhihi. They are all shining, beautiful Alankara. They are all decked up and they are waiting at the doors. Alara means door. With the arti, like they are holding arati for Devi, and they are waiting at the doors of the mansion or the room or the place where Devi is sitting. Patre Mauktika Chitra Pankti Vilasad Karpura Deepavalihi. And they are doing this arati with what? They have got this avali of Deepa and rows of lamps that are lit, and it is lit by Karpura Deepavalihi. And they are holding it in a patram. Mauktika Chitra Pankti. Mauktika Chitra Pankti means pearls are studded in a row on that patram. Patre Mauktika Chitra Pankti Vilasat, shining Karpura Deepa Valihi. Karpura Deepam. So they're using Karpuram to burn the Deepam there. Utattattala Mridanga Gita Sahitam. So the U is added to show Ullasa. Tatattala is essentially, it is a talam. It's a way of saying in a particular rhythm. But when you say u, it means there is a joy, ullasam. So utattattala means in a certain joyous talam, in a joyous rhythm. Mridanga Gita Sahitam of the percussion instruments, percussion and Gita Sahitam, Nritya Utpada, Nritya Nrityatpada Ambhoruham, Nrityat Padamboruham, Pada Ambhoruham, Nrityat Padamboruham. So their feet, lotus feet, move in dance to the music that is being created by the Mridanga and the Gita. So these celestial musicians and dancers are around Devi. Kanya Bhihi. Kamaniya Kanya Bhihi. So this Kamaniya Kanya Bhihi, beautiful damsels, are decorating this plate, with plate which is arranged with pearls around it, and they are lighting lamps, which is Deepavalihi, Karpura Deepavalihi, and they are dancing and singing to the rhythmic beats of the drums. They are singing and dancing to the rhythmic beats and mantra aradhana purvakam, along with the mantra aradhana. There is all the chants that are going around you. Suvihitam nirajanam grihyatam. So there is Vedic chants going, there is music going, there is drums that are being beating, and there are ladies who are dancing, and then there are beautiful women carrying these beautiful lamps. Just visualize this for a moment and think that you are in a place. Imagine if you've been to any dance dramas, any beautiful dance dramas where they bring many people come and dance, and usually there is some kind of a story or a sahitya that is narrated. The story is shown in the form of a nataka. You visualize a lot of times you will see the dance drama kind of ends with lights will be on turned off, and the dancers will all carry a lot of lamps, and there'll be music, loud music, and there'll be drums and all that will be beating, and then they will do an arati. And depending if it is Ramayana, they'll end it with doing an arati to Rama and Sita. If it is Krishna, they will do it to Krishna Bhagwan. If it is a story on Devi, they will do it to Mahishasura Mardini or Lalita Siddhapura Sundari, something like that. But just visualize this whole experience where this grand visual of Devi is there, and there are no tube lights and flashlights and all of that. Lights are all coming from the Deepam that all of these beautiful ladies are holding, and they're dancing, and there is music, and there is percussions, and there is chanting that is happening. Somebody is chanting Sindhurarana Vigraham Trinayana Manikya Moli Spurat, and then somebody is chanting Hiranyavarna Marinim Suvarna Rajadasrajam. This whole sound that is going on there. Just visualize it. It's like it'll seem, of course, you bring a Western, one of your British or American friends to it, he'll run away. He'll say it is all cacophony, right? To an untrained ear, it'll sound like a very noisy place, and it is a noisy place. No, there's no doubt about it. The way it is described, it's a very noisy place. You can imagine there's somebody singing, somebody dancing, somebody doing this, somebody dangu, somebody chanting. All of this is happening, and then there is Deepam that is being shown. But those who have experienced this, you will realize that it's an extremely meditative space. It creates a very, very meditative space because you are making the right sounds. See, we've spoken about sounds many times, right? These sounds are not like dig, 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 dish. They're not doing that, right? They're not creating metallic sounds and rock music. They're not creating sounds that are going to excite you in that way. These sounds are exciting you in a devotional way. It will charge you up in a very devotional way. So those who've been in these spaces, you'll notice, and we've had the opportunity of being in such spaces, and it's very beautiful. When you actually, that whole thing happens, it makes you so meditative. And when it kind of comes to a close, that whole thing, when it ends, you just want to close your eyes and stand there with that resonance, the sound resonating within you. This is the environment that is being created for Devi. So when you visualize this particular verse, think of it that way. A lot of times you go to temples, you'll also find a lot of noise. Somebody will be like Nadasaram, pee, and point to go side, then there'll be mantra chanting that'll be happening. Somebody will ringing the dung, and the bell will be going. Sometimes it'll feel very, very noisy. But when it's orchestrated a little properly, it can become, actually when Arati time, you look at the time of Arati in any temple, when this Maha Arati happens in a temple, there's a lot of sound that is generated. The chants will be very loud, people will be clapping, and then there'll be people will be moving, some people will be moving, then there is bright Arati lamps, lights, big Arati, and then Mani, dung will be going, mantra chanting will be going. What happens is, a few things are in play here. In this verse also, it's important to notice, is it is cutting off all your distractions. When you're impinged by a lot of such elements from the outside, it stuns your mind. And I've told you many times, one of the very good ways of going into meditation is stunning your mind. Stun your mind. Because otherwise it keeps chattering, doom. So you create this loud noise, doom, it will become silent. Mind will become silent. But we have to be aware of that silence. We have to catch it. We have to hold that silence and hold, saying, okay, it's so beautiful now. Hold with that, stay with that. The mind is now, you recognize the fact that the mind is not chattering. It is just absorbed. Just visualize you're in Kamakshi Kovil, or you're in, you're standing in front of Annapurneshwari in Kashi, or you're standing in front of Akhilandeshwari in Jambukeshwara, Tiruvanikaval. You're standing in front of Akhilandeshwari, and this grand arati is happening, sound, everything. Where will your attention be? You'll only be seeing that and all the sounds, and you'll just be focused on that. This is what is happening here. You're saying Kanyabhi Kamaniya Kantibhi Alankara Patre Mauktika Chitra Pankti Vilasat Karpura Deepavalihi Utattattala Mridanga Gita Sahitam Nrityat Padam Bhoruham Mantraradhana Purvakam Suvihitam Nirajanam Grihyatam. And then you also see Lakshmi Mauktika Laksha Kalpita Sita Chatram tu Dhatte Rasat. So Lakshmi and Saraswati, they are standing on Sachamara Ramavani Savya Dakshina Sevita. Indrani cha Ratischa Chamara Vare Dhatte Swayam Bharati Veena Mena Vilochanaha Sumanasam Nrityanti Tatra Gavat Bhavaihi Angika Satviki Kaihi Sputarasam Matastada Karnyatam. Oh Mother, Lakshmi and Saraswati are standing on either sides and doing Chamara to you. Chamara is that fan, that big, it's like a, I don't know how to explain Chamara.
Chatram Kudai.
Chatram is umbrella. They're holding an umbrella, and then they do
Chamara Visiri.
Visiri. So
The foxtail one.
Huh?
The foxtail one.
Foxtail. Correct. So it's beautiful. So it gives nice breeze. So Rama and Vani, Lakshmi and Saraswati both are holding Chamara. Sa Chamara Ramavani. Savya Dakshina Sevita. On your left, on your right. They are standing and they are doing this. Lakshmi Mauktika Laksha Kalpita Sita Chatram. So there's this beautiful Mauktika. Now, Mauktika is again gem studded. Kalpita Sita Chatram. Brilliant, beautiful, shining Chatram. Umbrella to Dhatte Rasat. Indrani cha ratischa chamara vare. Dhatte Swayam Bharati. Indrani and Ratihi. They are all standing there with Chamara. Dhatte Swayam Bharati. Bharati is Devi. Saraswati herself is there. Veenam Ena Vilochanaha. To her Veena, Bharati's Veena, Sumanasam Nrityanti Tadragavat. Beautiful ladies are dancing to that singing or that Veena, music of that Veena. Bhavaihi Angikara Satvikaihi Sputarasam Matastada Karnyatam. Oh mother, with this feeling, with this bhava, may you rejoice in this. I offer all of this joyfully to you. May and the ones who are dancing are showing all of this satvika bhava. With satvika bhava, bhavaihi angika satvikaihi sputarasam matas tada karnyatam. They are expressing all of this with so much of satvika rasa. Bhava, satvika rasa. This whole bhava of satvikam is shown in their whole angikam, in their whole body, in their anga. Every anga, you can experience that this devotion is flowing. So may you experience and listen to all of this and see all of this. May you receive all of this joyful, exuberant, celebratory environment that is being created for you. This environment, celebratory environment that's being created for you, Mother. May you rejoice in this. Because when she is rejoicing, we feel the rejoice. We feel that joy. We feel that joy, and that joy must be felt within us. When we are worried about the drudgery of life, the monotony of life, the pain and the suffering and the boredom of life, think about these verses. Rejoicing, Devi is rejoicing. And see, it is not Devi, some person out there, she is rejoicing and you are like completely, my life is so boring, you are enjoying. It is not like that. You're creating an environment in your mind. And Sri Adi Shankara is helping us create that environment. If you remember the story of Abhirami Pattar, very, very, very poor Brahmin priest. Very, very poor Brahmin priest. But when he sat down in the temple and is thinking about Devi, he is smiling, he is joyful, he is seeing Devi as full moon. And every lady he would see in the temple, he will fall at their feet. Amma, Amma Taye, Amma Taye. Amma Abhirami. So, where is this joy? He is poor. People also called him a mad priest. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, little Kali in Dakshineshwar. Those who have been to Dakshineshwar, you'll see it's a small Kali Devi. Very small. At Kali Devi, he would rejoice. He would feed her, he would dress her, he would do alankaram, aradhana, all of that to her, and he'll joyfully be with her. Very, very, very poor Brahmin. When you're in that joy, the thing that is what we call as life is a suffering, life is a pain, life is a drudgery, When we induce that joy, life, the pain of life will not be felt at all. It is like anesthesia. Once you're into complete anesthesia, you don't feel the pain of even somebody is cutting open your heart. Your chest is cut open and your heart is being operated upon. Nothing. You will not feel any pain. You're blissful. This is what happens. This is what this kind of worship offers you. It makes you numb to the pains of the world because you are joyful inside. Others may find you a little funny. They may also find you, how is this person joyful? How is this person able to be like this? But that's all right. Because they're not going to come and stand by you when you're experiencing suffering, pain. So you have to tap into that rasa, sattvika rasa within. We have to tap into it. There's no way. So these are ways. Bhagavan Adi Shankara is giving us ways of rejoicing in this visualization of creating a celebratory environment for Devi, and thus, thereby, as I said earlier, our energy body is also charged up, rejuvenated, and we in our within our minds, within our bhava, there is this great joy and rejoicing that is there. And we know that this is being received by mother. Grihyatam, karnyatam. Mother, I know you're receiving all of this. Okay. So those are the two verses today. कन्याभिः कमनीयकान्तिभिरलङ्कारामलारार्तिका पात्रे मौक्तिकचित्रपङ्क्तिविलसत्कर्पूरदीपावलिः उतत्तत्तालमृदङ्गगीतसहितं नृत्यपदाम्भोरुहं मन्त्राराधनपूर्वकं सुविहितं नीराजनं गृह्यताम्. That is 13th. 14th is Lakshmi Moktika Laksha Kalpitasita Chatram tu Dhatte Rasat. Indrani Ratischa Chamaravare Dhatte Swayam Bharati. वीणाम एणवल विलोचनाः सुमनसां नृत्यन्ति तद्रागवत् भावैः आंगिकरासात्विकैः स्फुटरसं मातस्तदा कर्ण्यताम्. ॐ कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सदाशिवायेति समर्पयामि. जगदम्बिकेति समर्पयामि. सद्गुरुनाथायेति समर्पयामि. हरि ओम तत्सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. गुरुदेवा. हरि ओम.